All right. And good afternoon. Welcome to Sunday Brunch with Linda. I want to go ahead and get started by first showing and putting sure that we have our disclaimer out here that the news, views, and opinions shared in some of the videos created by One Universal Production Company, which is the name of our production company, do not necessarily represent the views, opinions, or beliefs of the above. And also want to notice that we have a fair use notice copyright disclaimer under Section 102 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, and this is what we're doing, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright status that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. And again, I just want to remind you that today's show is sponsored by Sunday Brunch with Lynda D. Brown. I'm actually sorry. I wanted to tell you that our show is sponsored by Spoken Word Press, my publishing company. Author there is Lynda D. Brown. Not only have I published my books, but I've also published books for others. I no longer do that, but if you want to see any of my books, go to all online major retailers like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Books a Millions, and all you have to do is request my books by my name, Lynda, Lynda, middle initial. I always put that in there, and then brown like the color. And again, you're watching the Sunday Brunch Show, and we've got a lot of things that we're going to be talking about today. So bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and just actually put this back here on my little picture. I wanted this to be my picture here today. Let's see if I, okay, let's see. There we go. All right. And what I like to do is go ahead. I have something I do want to share with you, and then we're going to watch a video. The video that we're going to be watching, and again, I do want to remind our copyright people that we are using this video. It's by TEOW, the End of the World Ministries, and the reason why I want to show this is because yesterday, while I was at home chilling, bear with me while I pull up the video, guys. Um, I basically, while I was at home, I just got this. I'm going to just say it this way. I had this urge to go to Jeremiah 24. I'm sorry, Jeremiah 50 and 51. Forgive me. I do get a little rattled when I talk about anything that concerns the Most High when He has placed it upon me to give you guys a word, and that's exactly what I received yesterday. So I just want to pull up again, and this is coming from Jeremiah. And let's go to Bible Gateway. Let's do that first. Let's see. I'm going to pull up the video that I want to show you guys first. You can kind of see the people that I listen to, and I try to share these with you. And if this is something that piques your interest, I do recommend that you go to his page. Again, it's TEOTW, the End of the World as we know it, basically ministries. Because as we can see, I don't know, for those of you that might I'm gonna move this over here on my other screen. There we go. And I have to get my Facebook page going, get my watch party going there. Um, but one of the things that I like about this guy is he's when there's something that's going on right now, he really creates a video. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I just haven't got there yet. I used to, but I don't know if it's just because I'm distracted with other things. But I got a very clear message last night to go ahead and share this with you. So I'm going to see if I can pull it back up what I was watching. Because, of course, it popped up in my YouTube feed and it was just what I needed. because this is also concerning um, uh, what I was told to talk about, Jeremiah. So he's even talking about Jeremiah 29 on here. But what he has here that I wanted to share some of this with you guys because I also believe it. Here it is. You can see I was kind of watching it earlier. But again, I just want to remind you of the Fair Usage Act. I'm going to go back to where this he gets started. But he's talking about, and for those of you guys that are familiar with the word, um, because a lot of the stuff that we've been taught has is really not correct. We've been lied to. A lot of information was hidden and stolen from us. Um, Now, okay, so I wanted to pull that up and then I wanted to go to Bible Gateway because I want to share this with you before I get into this teaching that he's going to do on his video because it seriously, guys, lines up with what I was reading and studying last night. I believe that the Negroes from Negro land, from Africa, are the true Hebrew Israelites. We're descendants from them. Um, I've been trying to do as much research and studying as I can to make sure that whatever I'm sharing with you guys is correct. All right, so we're going to go to Jeremiah. And I'm going to always try to use an easy version for you to use. But this time, let me show you what I used. And I don't really use this a lot. I haven't used it in a while, but it really did the trick. And that's what we call the amplified version. All right, and what we're going to talk about before we switch over to the video is Jeremiah 50. I'm going to go take it to 51 because it's actually 50 and 51 that the Most High put on my heart yesterday. Okay. And when I pulled it up on my phone, because us being lazy, I was actually laying down. Because this happened about 2 o'clock something this morning. Um, when I pulled it up, it was highlighted on my phone. Okay, is that let's see, check. Oh, maybe it was the Message Bible. Bear with me. I want to pull it up with the same translation that I was looking at. That just made me just kind of sit up. And the reason why we're talking about this, again, they're still talking about Trump. Well, actually, you know what? This is actually going to what he just did today before I went live at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. He's just getting ready to prove my point. And the actually on if you go to my YouTube channel, and I'm actually on my Lynda D spoken word press YouTube channel. I'll get the link on Facebook in just a minute. Okay, here it is. It was actually the Message Bible that I read this from. Okay, so Trump just made a comment. Our Trump. As a matter of fact, let's pull it up. I hope I don't get in trouble with what he just because he's one of my Twitter friends. Because you're supposed to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I always like to see what they're doing. That's why I try to when you can't listen to a message because you don't like the messenger, you really deprive yourself of sometimes really great information that they're trying to keep from you. And since they know that you don't listen to them, they have no problem just getting it right out there. Okay. So you should always kind of keep an ear over there, see what they're talking about. But let's go here and the real. He's at the real. See, See, I'm following him. See that? I follow a lot of people that you really see following. I'm following it. So I just wanted to go up here. Apparently, he said something. And like I said, he always makes our jobs easy. I hope he hasn't taken it down. Because when I heard it, and I mean, it was literally right before I came in here to start setting up for the show. Oh, he might have took it down. Let's see. No, that's 6 hours ago. This was just recently. Oh, he might have took it down. But that's okay. You know me, I'm gonna go right over to, let's see, I bet you CNN has it. And again, I do want to remind those that we do have the Fair Usage Act, that we can use this information to pass along for news purposes, which is what we're doing. So we're gonna. He apparently just tweeted something where he basically told AOC, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Taliba. See, there it is. Trump tweets racist attacks at Congresswomen. Yeah, he falsely implying they weren't natural born American citizens. So what we're experiencing, and I've tried to kind of stay away from this, but I think now, especially with what I'm getting ready to share with you from Jeremiah 50 and what's going on now, I think I have to just, of course, whatever the Most High wants me to talk about, that's what I have to talk about. Okay, so here's this information about Trump, and I'm just going to see if I can pull it up here. Because, I always want to remind you that for those of you, like I said, just like that were probably just like me, that grew up in the church, we have some knowledge. But if you weren't the type that really got into that word to see what was going on, then guess what? You really are not going to be able to understand what I'm getting ready to. Until they got a wacky new maid. Maid? I'm not liking this new maid. Cook or clean? Because I'm not the maid. Brought to you by the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle and the maid. Not a maid. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to put that in there. And I don't want to hear him, so let me just turn this off. Politics, back to what we discussed earlier, the feud between Nancy Pelosi and a group of progressive Democrats earlier in the show. Well, President Trump is again. Seriously? And weighing in this morning, some racially charged language. I want to read this to you. It's this quote, so interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world, if they have a functioning government at all. Sorry about that, guys. That's me. But did you see that? Go ahead, you little man. Now, loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest, most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came, then come back and show us how it's done? These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to work out free travel arrangements. All right, let's set one fact first. All right, so that's to show you that yes, he did actually say that. Okay, so everybody is all up in arms about about the migrants and what he's doing, which is absolutely horrible. But again, you got to remember, first of all, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So, and these are spiritual things, okay. And for those of you that, and I just giggle when I hear people that think that they know, and I guess this even applies to me, think that they're hearing the word of the Lord and doing what He says, because a lot of times they're just way off. There's no discernment there. I've said this before on my show, and I tell you, I don't get a lot of hits because people don't want to hear the truth. But this is what came up when the Most High last night had me go to Jeremiah 50. I'm just going to start it from here. The message of God through the prophet Jeremiah on Babylon, land of the Chaldeans. And of course, okay, I'm just going to read it. Get the word out to the nations, preach it, go public with this, broadcast it far and wide, which is why I have it on the show. Babylon taken. Now, Babylon in Jeremiah 50, we all believe they're talking about modern day America. And the video that we're going to show after this, we're going to talk where the end of the world, he's going to break that down to you because he has it down pat more so than I do, and I actually get a lot of my information from him. Okay, but let me read what I read last night, and then I'm going to show you what the Most High gave me to share with you guys today. So again, listen to this. So the first two lines blew me away because for those of you that know, I am a Christian author. Um, I do not go to Christian churches because to me they're just a social hangout for people that are lost and are okay with being lost as long as they got people that look and talk like them. They have no discernment. They don't understand the power, dominion, the keys of the kingdom that we have. And if you are interested in finding out how this is, all of my books that you can find on Amazon.com will have that information in there for you. And I'm not trying to really promote myself, but you got to get the real word. You got to, because we are in dark times, guys, and it's getting ready to get worse. We just experienced a earthquake 7.1 last week in California. It's getting ready to get bad. But anyway, so let's go again. So this is what got my attention again. Get the word out to the nations. Preach it. Go public with this. Broadcast it far and wide. Babylon. So I'm going to use America for this, okay? America taken. God Bel hanging his head in shame. God Marduk exposed as a fraud. And all her God idols shuffling in shame. All her play guys exposed as cheap frauds. I call them the new modern day Pharisees and Sadducees. For a Nate, and those would be our pastors and preachers that we have on the scenes today. That's a whole nother video. For a nation will come out of the north to attack her. And who are they talking about? A nation's going to come out of the north to attack America. Who's going to come out of the north? So I kept asking him. What kept popping up? Russia and China. Okay. To attack, reduce her city to rubble, empty of life, no animals, no people, not a sound, not a movement, not a breath. In those days, at that time, God's decree, the people of Israel will come. And we're not talking about the people that are over there now, because again, if you've listened to my other videos, those are what we call fake Jews, to term President Trump's favorite word, fake Jews. Okay, so and for those that want to look at that, go to Revelations 2:9 and Revelations 3:9, and it's on there. And you can also go back to some of my other tapes. All right, so again, in those days, at that time, God's decree, and whenever God decrees something, it's definitely going to happen. The people of Israel will come, and the people of Judah with them. Now, again, since we believe that we are the true Israel, they're talking about the people of Judah is one tribe, okay? And then remember, we had the lost tribes. Those are the people of Israel. And the people of Judah and the people of Israel are two different tribes. Because remember, they got broke up during the time of the kingdom of Jeroboam, I believe it was, and then they were taken off by the Assyrians. Okay, so he's talking about the people of Israel will come, and he's talking about our lost tribes out there, the because just like they said, you saw, for those of you that are on my One Nation Network Facebook page or my personal page, my co-host on One Nation Network, Dirty, he posted a great video from, I think it was NPR, where they showed all the ships that were involved in the slave trade from Africa. Do you know there were over 15,000 slave ships that actually moved people from Africa to basically to the U.S. and also the Caribbean nations? So a lot of our brothers and sisters are over there. That's why you have dark Hispanics and dark people from the because we're all mixed in together, guys. And the way that they keep us divided is by telling us that one skin color is more dominant and more intelligent than the other, and we fall for this crap while they're busy keeping us as slaves. But that's another story. But anyway, so that's who the people of Israel are, and the people of Judah are again the black that came from. If you ever did a ancestry DNA, and I have, and it shows that your ancestors came from the West African area, Nigeria, Ghana, Bogo, Tobo, Togan, those areas over there. More than likely, you are from the tribe of Judah. Okay, and again, he's going to explain it to you in the video coming up. So I'm gonna have to hurry up so that we'll have time to watch it. So in those days, after America is destroyed, and guess what? We're still here. In those days, at that time, God's decree, the people of Israel, remember all the slaves that went to the Caribbean coast will come, and the people of Judah. Now, most of the people of Judah came to the Americas. But see, remember, God told Abraham that was going to happen. Remember that? He said they're going to be for 400 years, they're going to be in captivity. So he knew. So God, and he put us where he knew that we're going to use the talents that he gave us. Remember that story about the talents? And the one guy had like 15 talents, the other guys had 5, and one just took his and hid. How many talents do you have? Because if I just go by what people tell me I can do, and what school tells me I can do, and what jobs tell me I can do, I would never have written my books. I never would have started a podcast years ago, and now I could teach other people how to do it. I never would have been exposed to the talents that I had because I was able to reach beyond what people and what society said that I could do. That's me being a Taurus, a hard-headed girl. And I'm just saying, I know that we don't talk about astrology and religion, but a lot of that I think has been warped so that we don't understand. Because I'm going to tell you, since I discovered about the blood moons, and I talked about those, and you can actually check out my Author Chat shows on my YouTube videos. When my book Blood Moon came out, I talked a lot about the different things that we're not being taught at church, about the things that we should be paying attention to up in the skies, just like he told us to. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back on track. So the people of Israel will come, and the people of Judah will come, walking and weeping. So ain't nobody driving. They'll seek me, their God. They'll ask directions to Zion, because now we've tried to do it ourselves and know that we still here, and we see him. And now we need to know how to get to Zion. They'll come and hold tight to God, bound in a covenant eternal they'll never forget. Now listen to this. My people were lost sheep, and we were lost. A lot of people, other cultures knew who we were, and we had no clue. And we used to hear it and used to just let it go right over our head and get distracted by other things. But he knew we would wake up when it was time. And that's what we think those dry bones in the Ezekiel prophecy and scripture are about. That we have finally woken up to who we really are. So my people were lost sheep. Their shepherds led them astray. They abandoned them in the mountains where they wandered aimless through the hills. They lost track of home, couldn't remember where they came from. Everyone who met them took advantage of them. Is there anybody that want to refute that? How many of our song artists from back in the day were ripped off by people that knew more and took advantage of us? We've got redlining, mortgage issues, HUD. Everyone who met them took advantage of them. Their enemies had no qualms. Fair game, they said. They walked out on God. They abandoned the true pasture, the hope of their parents. But now, and this is where he's been getting on me about this. And I know, because I should have been in Africa this summer and did not go. Got held back with some personal things here. But listen, but now get out of Babylon as fast as you can. And again, I'm going to substitute that for America. But now get out of America as fast as you can. Get rid of that American country. On your way. Good sheepdogs lead, but don't you be led. Lead the way home. Lynda, this is what I was being told yesterday. Because remember, this is where the Most High sent me on this way. Lead the way home, Lynda. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm rallying a host of nations against America. And think about it. How many, with Trump in office, how many nations are no longer our allies, no longer our friends? It just came out the other day from Britain that they think that administration is inept, he's insecure and incompetent. So if you are a nation such as Russian Vladimir Putin's Russia, or China's Xi Jinping, and you see weakness, you would be crazy not to attack. Am I right? I'm just saying. Okay. So the Most High told me, look, I'm going to go back to verse 8 again. But now, look at this. Get out of America as fast as you can. Be rid of that American country. On your way. Good sheepdogs lead, but don't you be led. Lead the way home. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm rallying a host of nations against America. They'll come out of the north, attack, and take her. And see, when you guys don't believe me and something happens, you're going to say, ooh, Lynda Brown said that. Oh, they know how to fight, these armies. They never come home empty handed. America is ripe for picking. See what I'm saying? All her plunderers will fill their bellies. God's decree. God is decreeing this, okay? You Babylonians you Americans had a good time while it lasted, didn't you? You lived it up, exploiting and using my people. Now remember, his people are the true Israel, lost Israelites and Judah. Okay? Frisky cows romping in lush pastures, wild stallions out having a good time. Well, your mother would hardly be proud of you. The woman who bore you wouldn't be pleased. Look at what's become of you. A nothing nation, rubble and garbage and weeds, emptied of life by my holy anger, a desert of death and emptiness. Travelers who pass by America will gasp, appalled, shaking their heads at such a come down. Gang up on America, pin her down, throw everything you have against her, hold nothing back, knock her flat. She sinned. Oh, how she sinned against me. Shout battle cries from every direction. All the fight has gone out of her. Her defenses, and you know what they say. Now, I'm gonna tell you what. Stop right there, because I've been hearing in my spirit with all this that's going on is pride goeth before the fall. So I'm just saying. Her defenses have been flattened, her walls smashed. Did you hear that? Her what? Her walls smashed. And what have we been hearing and complaining about for the past 2 years? A wall. Operation God's Vengeance. Pile on the vengeance. Do to her as she has done. Give her a good dose of her own medicine. Destroy her farms and farmers. Now, tariffs. Do I have to say any more? Is that not where we are? Tariffs? Oh my goodness. The tariffs are destroying the farms and the farmers. Ravage her fields, empty her barns, and you captives, while the destruction rages. Look, get out while the getting's good. So the Most High, look, is telling us, you captives, because remember, our ancestors did not come over here willingly, okay? We did not come over here willingly. So we are still captives. And we complain and wonder why we're still not getting equal treatment as our white counterparts, because we were captives. And what he's doing, and I've said, I don't know if I tweeted this, but I'm just going to say it on my show. With these raids that he's planning today and this weekend, what makes you think we're not going to be next? Okay. He's already told these other women that are congresswomen selected through our democratically owned voting system that they do not belong and they need to go back to the countries that they came from. The president. So what I kept hearing in my spirit, which is why I have to do this teaching today, whether you receive it or not. And I'm going to actually put it up as a YouTube video. I'm not even going to share it on video on YouTube until the video is complete, because I don't have time to be worried about that when the Most High has told me this. And you captives, Lynda, while the destruction rages, get out while the getting's good. Get out fast and run for home. Now, I told you, for those again that have been listening to the show, America, Africa, me going back there has been on my heart for a minute. But I know I got to wait for his time, and I got to wait for other things to balance out. So, but when he showed me this, and I'm going to be real honest with you, I immediately ran and did what I had to finish up doing what I had to do, because I have been very negligent in what I need to do. And I do apologize and repent for that, because uh, guys, y'all don't have a clue how close we are. Woo! So Israel is a scattered flock hunted down by lions. Now, I'm going to say this again. See, they always want to say that this applies to the Jews over there that are in Israel now. This is, you don't see anywhere in the word where they talk about the people the Ashkenazi Jews that came over from the Russian area and that are now illegally occupying the Palestinian homeland and some of our homeland by claiming that they're the real Jews, and they know that they're not. You don't see them after the whole issue with Germany and the Holocaust, and you really need to get educated on what happened with there, because what you're seeing in Israel, and I'm going to show you guys something else that was pretty fascinating. Let me see if I'm going to. I think it was last name was Dave. It's fine to show you what is actually really going on in Israel when they go over there to talk about Jesus. They're spitting on these pastors. If you watch Daystar Television, Marcus Lamb's Daystar. Apparently, he built a new, and I'm going to show you guys that too. Daystar Fire. He built a new studio over there in Jerusalem after Trump made Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, the head of of Israel, and they burned down his station. I'm going to show you the videos, and then we're going to go to this teaching. But okay, so you don't see these guys being scattered. The only time they were scattered was really when Adolf Hitler kicked them out of Germany and killed them, because what they did, what you see these people, and what you see these people doing to the Palestinians today is what their ancestors were doing to the Germans before they got kicked out. So you got to do your homework. You can't. That's why the Most High said, "Don't put your trust in man. Don't even put your trust in me." I challenge you to go and listen to what I'm saying and go do your homework. And if you want to have a discussion about it, let's talk, because we need to talk about this, because it's time for us to get up out of here. All right. So that being said, um, let's go. I want you guys to hear this, because we're going to talk about these two kingdoms. And then we're going to come back, and you know what? Maybe next week, because I want to do this next week. I'm going to talk about the Jews in Israel and the Daystar thing. But I'm hopefully, if I have enough time, I can show you um, a quick clip of the Daystar fire. And I'm going to tell you something. I had no clue about that until, because I didn't hear it. I did not hear it on mainstream media. I didn't hear it even just listening or going on the internet. I did not, until I went to this one particular website, and this guy, he just let it out the bag, and I said, oh, and I went to make sure it was true, and I said, oh my goodness. But listen to this again. So what we're getting, We're listening to America is Mystery Babylon, and he's from the End of the World as We Know It Ministries. I highly recommend that you guys subscribe to this guy. We're going to play a little bit of what he's talking about because, like I said, he's taught me a lot.
Proof of who is Babylon and who takes her place as the world power. Because guess what? You never heard that one before, right? That Mystery Babylon's place of authority, her place of sitting as a queen is going to be removed. So let's get into this study. It's very deep. Take notes, pay attention, but remember, you're going to have to go back and watch the other videos if you truly want to understand. Modern day biblical scholars will tell you that America is not in the Bible, although it is the quote unquote last superpower. Is this true that America is not in the Bible, or are they hiding the truth from the public? If America is Babylon, then its future is to be destroyed. If you're the ruling power structure, then you do not want to tell people the truth, because then you could not get them to go along with their agenda. America has a judgment day coming, and that day is closer than you think. Very, very close. No other nation in history fulfills the description of Jeremiah's daughter of Babylon and the book of Revelation's Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, than in America. No other nation. So, you know how we Hebrew Israelites we say, Deuteronomy 28 describes the Negro, and the Bible says that Deuteronomy 28 those curses will be a sign on the descendants of those who go into slavery forever, right? It's going to be a sign. Deuteronomy 28 is a sign forever of who Israel is. So everyone knows that the Negro went into slavery on ships from Africa, right? That's a sign. And that identifies Judah, right? It identifies even those in Africa, even though some of them didn't come over here to slavery. The ones in Africa became colonized, okay? So it identifies who is Israel. So therefore, as I said before, you Mexicans, did your ancestors come over on a slave ship? Nope. And you're not Israel. You Native American, did your ancestors come over on a slave ship? And you're not Israel. Okay? Who is Israel? It is the Negro. Okay? And Negro does not have to do with color. Many of you white folks want to go out there and say, oh, well.
Okay, now, I might not agree with everything that he says because, again, I think the Israelites the lost tribes were the ones that they sent to the Caribbean. And then the tribe of Judah would be the tribe that came from the West Coast area in Africa under a place called Negro land.
Every black Israel then, did you not hear me say Negro? Negro is a certain group of people from a certain location in Africa called Negro land.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch some of the videos. So let's see why America is Babylon. Not only is America Babylon, she's the daughter of Babylon, and she's also Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots. And the attributes that describe Mystery Babylon can fit no other nation but America. The attributes that describe who Israel is, who Judah is, right? According to Deuteronomy 28, fits no other group of people but the Negro. So let's look at the attributes. Let's not go with people's feelings and, the whole idea of the Kaaba stone and, being in Saudi Arabia and the whole idea of their religion. And, yes, their religion in Saudi Arabia is Baal worship, but most of the religions throughout the world is the religion of Baal. Okay, so, you have to let the Bible tell you who's who. So we have a few initial questions. How can God judge a nation who's supposed to have done so much good? How can Babylon be a nation when it says in the Bible that it is a city? How can God judge a nation who's supposed to have done so much good? The teachings in modern Christianity is that America is and was a Christian nation. However, with a little research, one finds that America was founded by Freemasons. America was never a Christian nation. America had a manifest destiny to conquer the Americas and the rest of the known world. Although America was used by Father Yah to help spread the gospel to the world, it was also used to implement the final world governmental empire. The biggest atrocity of America was the enslavement of true Israel, the Negro, and the continued persecution of her. Okay, so we must understand, if you're honest with yourself, and I'm talking right now to white America, white Christianity, you have to admit, America has always been evil. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, God used her just like he used many other nations to fulfill his will. And he used her to spread the gospel, right? According to the prophecy that the gospel, that it will go to the Gentiles, right? That salvation will go to the Gentiles for a time. So they fulfilled their promise, their prophecy. And now, guess what? The end of that time is near. Why? Because the 400-year captivity of Israel is almost over. So the other question, how can Babylon be a nation when it says in the Bible that it is a city? We must note that in ancient and modern times, the powerful conquering empire was known by its main city. Example, Israel, known as Jerusalem. United States, referred to as Washington. Russia, always referred to as Moscow. They're interchangeable. This is why it is a great city that rules over the kings of the earth. A city has to have a nation and a military backing it, especially if it is to rule over other nations. So we know right here alone that Babylon has to be some type of powerful entity, a powerful nation, because we'll see that the scripture says that she rules over the kings of the earth. So proof number one that America is Babylon. And these lists of proofs are not all encompassing. It's not everything, right? If I went through all of the proofs to identify America as Babylon, I would never get through this teaching. Okay, so to me, this is enough. Okay, if you want to be honest, it's enough to prove who Babylon is, who Mr. Babylon. Okay, so proof number one that America is Babylon, she must have a deep sea water port. Let's read Revelation 18, verses 17 to 19. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. This scripture tells us that merchant ships are standing off the coast of Babylon. These ships are either about to unload cargo in the port city of Mystery Babylon or are waiting to dock when the judgment hits. These ship captains, crew members, and passengers are witnesses to the destruction. So our question is then, what city is it? Because, you just said that Washington, United States is known by Washington. Yes. I'm saying in modern times, if we were to refer to the United States, a lot of people refer to the United States as Washington in other countries, right? You've seen television shows and news shows where they say, yes, over in Washington, in reference to the United States. So the city here that, in my opinion, that the scripture is talking about is New York. Why is it New York? Because the Bible is talking in terms of its merchandise, right? And how much merchandise comes out of Babylon, right? So why wouldn't you focus then on the descriptive nature or the city where these things occur, right? Where all of the trade comes in, right? It would be New York. Merchandise, Mystery Babylon traded in. Revelation 18, verses 11 through 13. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all dining wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. So we can look at this and say, yes, America deals in all of that, right? You can get perfume, right, from America. You can get herbs and cinnamon and all kind of things from America. You can get cows, horses, sheep, right? You can get cars, which are chariots. Everything listed here, America has. Now, other nations may have some of these things, right? But America sells all of these things. Now, some of these things may be manufactured in other countries, but America, it goes through America's corporate system and sold to the world through that corporate system who finances these things to be maintained, created, and distributed. So no other nation trades in all of these items but America. Now, China is getting there, but it has not overtaken yet. You must understand there's a future for China. Not that China will last as long as the United States, because what's going to happen is, as you see, things are going to change on the horizon, and political alliances will change, and the things that you see today will not be tomorrow.
Right.
So proof number 2 that America is Babylon. Top financial and military power. Other candidate cities that may be port cities like Dubai are not included because the scriptures detail how Mr. Babylon, the great military and financial power, dominates all the kings of the earth. Revelation 17, 18, and 9, right? Revelation 18, 18, right? And then that should be Revelation 17, 18, and 19. Okay, and Revelation 18, 18. So keep in mind that whoever Babylon is, its sudden disappearance is devastating to the world economy to the point that no one buys the merchant's goods anymore. Revelation 18:11. America is the chief economic power of the world, the greatest importer and consumer of goods and resources in the world. It also has the world's reserve currency. And that currency is a oil currency, a petrol currency, which means that the dollar is backed by the trading of oil, right? Now, recently in the news, and you can see that in some of my other videos, that there's a change happening where Russia and China are denominating their money in what? In gold. Not only that, China is backing theirs also with oil. So China is going to be trading oil in yen. Okay, so now we're moving from the petrodollar of America to the petro yen of China. So they're already positioning themselves monetarily wise to take America's place. But America doesn't see it. America is haughty. America sits a queen thinking she'll never top it. But guess what? From everything I'm seeing, her end is very near. Proof number 3 that America is Babylon. Babylon must have a recognizable mother country. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Now, most other countries do not have a mother nation that we can easily recognize. But everyone knows America's mother is Great Britain. Note that Babylon is the hindermost, located furthest to the rear of the nations. In other words, America is among the youngest nations on the earth. Okay, so America is fitting all of these descriptions of Babylon. Proof number 4 that America is Babylon. National symbols of U.S. and UK in Daniel chapter 7. Everyone knows that America's symbol is the eagle, and that Great Britain's national symbol is the lion. A lion whose eagle's wings are plucked literally pictures the destruction of America, since eagle's wings cannot survive without the body. but the lion's body can and does survive. In fact, the same beast reappears later in Revelation with the lion still there and the other three beasts of Daniel 7. But no more trace of the eagle's wings. It's dead and gone, destroyed. After America is destroyed, Britain will fall under the new leadership that will more than likely be run out of Russia. And the Ten Horns will rule 1 hour with this beast system after betraying America. So there's a coming shift of power from the UN, NATO world government system, right, controlled by America, to a new system run by Russia and China, and mainly the WEU 10 nations. Proof number 5 that America is Babylon. People of other nations working her fields. Just like America, Babylon has others working her fields. People from different countries. Babylon is a giant in all areas of commerce, even food. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16. Cut off the sword from Babylon and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. We can see that the Mexicans and others who work in America's farms will go back to their homeland because of the oppressing sword or war.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. So did you hear what he just said? So that line, and again, there it is right there, 50. Jeremiah 50, cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. See, we cut off the sword from Babylon, or cut off the sword from America, and him, because think about it, the people that they're kicking out were the sowers, because the ones that were reaping were the landowners, right? Okay, and him that handled the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. So I'm going to go back to what I was reading. Again, do to her as she has done, give her a dose of her own medicine, destroy her farms and farmers, ravage her fields, empty her barns, and you captives, while the destruction rages. So while all this is going on after we're attacked by the North, those of us, we should be ready and prepared to get out. You said you would. This is why I like the Message Bible. Get out while the getting's good. Get out fast and run for home. So you need to go get your passports. You need to get your stuff in order. Get a credit card that's got some. I just cleared off a credit card to make sure I got room to whatever might be coming down next. Because I think that things are getting ready to make a drastic turn. We're in 2019, which again is supposed to be the year of the end of our captivity. And then there's going to be a turnaround. So this is why we're seeing those that are not of the children of God that are panicking and they're using fear tactics. I want to talk to you about this book that I read. Let me see if I can find it. I'm just going to Google it. And because what you see going on, because remember, our what is it? Our enemy is not flesh and blood. Okay, remember, always remember Ephesians 6:12. Okay, our enemy is not flesh and blood. Okay, so I wanted to come over here to show you. As a matter of fact, let me pull that up. Okay, what was I going to pull up here? Let me just pull up the Ephesians just to show you guys that you got to remember what I'm getting ready to show you. Okay. Just to remind you, and this is the New International Version, because I usually, I like to look at different versions if I have some issues understanding. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. And we always, unfortunately, tend to forget about that. But I wanted to show you before we leave, because I've got, well, I'm a little after 4, but I do want to just take this time to go in here and see if I can Google about the Daystar. Let's see. I want you to Daystar Church studio in Israel. Okay. And I don't know, for those of you that are still beauty for ad destroying. Let's see. By firebomb. So somebody over in Israel, back in May, just last month. I don't know if you guys heard it. Like I said, I haven't heard it. This is why when we tell you that Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 tells you that those are fake Jews over there, and they are in our land. Okay, so look at this. Let's see if we can play this real quick. And I do want to remind.
The fire began early Saturday morning when an arsonist started a fire in the Daystar studio. Daystar was in the midst of a major renovation and upgrade of its studio here in Jerusalem, overlooking Mount Zion and the Temple Mount. The fire destroyed the new work and much of the existing facility.
The control room is, I'd say, probably totally devastated.
Dave Charette, the general contractor overseeing the renovations, showed us the destruction.
This is where we filmed from. There were 4 cameras that would be back in this area here. And Marcus and Tony would be, or their interviewee would be sitting here. And then you have this fabulous view behind them.
Yeah. These before and after shots reveal the extent of the devastation.
We're here in the new Daystar TV studios in Jerusalem, Israel.
Marcus and Joni Ladd dedicated the Daystar Jerusalem studio in October of 2009. Daystar is one of the largest Christian television networks in the world that reaches more than 200 countries and nearly 700.
So you would ask yourself, well, now who would do that over there in Jerusalem if this is supposed to be a time of peace for the people that are over there, and there's the Christian nation and all that? Am I correct? Well, check this out. And a lot of these are the what they call the Orthodox Jews. It is just chaos over there. Let's see if we can get a video, because it's disgusting to watch. Oh, of course, they're not going to show anything there, huh? Let's see if I can find it over here on YouTube. Because they're spitting on them. They don't want to hear anything because they don't believe in Jesus, remember? They just had a racist shooting over there. Okay, here we go. Christians in Israel face hate crimes.
In northern Israel, a Catholic parade thanks God for protecting the image of Virgin Mary. Today, it's these Christians who feel they need protection.
These extremists, whether Muslim, whether Jews, is rising more and more.
We are afraid because there was an escalation, very dangerous escalation.
That escalation is of hate crimes against Christians in Israel. In this Jerusalem church, the words "Jesus is garbage" was scrawled on the side wall. At the Vatican's Jerusalem headquarters, recent graffiti threatened death to Arabs and Christians and all those who hate Israel. The church believes the perpetrators are ultra-nationalist Orthodox Jews. Outside the site, believed to be both King David's tomb and the Last Supper room, they protest a rumor the building will be handed over to the Vatican.
If someone will give up 1 inch from that tomb, they'll start a war between Jews and Christians. God would forgive us.
Israeli police must protect everyone equally, and they say they're trying to protect Christians.
Action has been taken in the past by police operations as well as undercover operations, not just the Israeli National Police, but also secret security services who have also been involved. That's how seriously we're taking and dealing with those incidents.
But the church believes this isn't only about police. The Holy Land's top Catholic official says some Israeli schools teach hate. Some Israeli politicians preach exclusion. As the Pope arrives, some Christians living in what they consider the holiest place on earth say they feel neither welcome nor protected.
Wow. All right. So thank you guys. Believe it or not, that's our show for today. Let me get back with you over here. I hope you had a good time. Let's go back over here. Here we go. All right. And just get some of our, there we go. All right. So thank you for joining us on Sunday Brunch. I'm going to go ahead and play this back for you. If you have any questions about what we discussed today, feel free to hit me up at, I'm going to give you my business address, which is spokenwordpress2010@gmail.com. Okay. Be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And to be honest with you, in anything that you guys might have, just give me a call. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. Again, I was hoping that I could get this to play. Let's see if I can get it back up here. Okay, well, apparently not. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And again, thank you guys so much for showing up, and we'll catch you next year on Sunday Brunch. Goodbye.